Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I have another top 5 video for you guys on GTA Online, and I was thinking of ones to do, and I remember a lot of people were asking me to, make a video talking about, what are the biggest wastes of money. And to tell you the truth, there is not one thing in GTA Online that I regret buying, because every single thing that I bought in this game, even when I know it was a terrible, terrible choice, I did not regret buying it because I wanted to make videos to show you guys why it was a waste of money. I knew some things were a big waste of money, but I still bought them because I wanted to show you guys they are a waste of money. So here are the top 5 things that I purchased that are the biggest waste of money in my opinion. The biggest waste of money. You don't need to spend money on any of this stuff. It's absolutely pointless. It could have been spent completely elsewhere. So I hope you guys enjoy top 5 biggest waste of money. Starting off at number 5, we have the Heist Practice equipment, which costs $1,455,000 for all 3 of them. Now, the casino model, that costs $130,000, the hacking equipment $425,000, the vault door $900,000, totaling to $1,455,000. This is a big waste of money, and it's the most recent one on this list. Now, what is so bad about the Heist Practice equipment? What's so bad about it is it's just a complete waste of money. You don't need any of this stuff. And I'll show you guys. Let's start off with the casino model right here. Now the casino model with the blue pawns, that basically shows you the access points. So it shows you the location of all the access points. But you don't need the casino model for that because the access points, you only need to really do them once. Also the points of entry. You only need to do that one time. Just one time, you don't ever have to do it again. I made a guide on showing all the access points and the points of entry. I'll link that at the end of this video. Check that out. You don't need the casino model for that. It's a waste of $130,000. Now, we'll move on to the vault door. The vault door, which is the most expensive one here, $900,000. There's 2 different types of drilling. Now, there's the drilling in the silent and sneaky one with the laser drill. That one is the easiest one by far, but the one with the big con, most people are going to be doing the Group A approach with the armored truck, so they're not really going to be drilling. But if you do the other one, Young Ancestors, Bugsters, Maintenance, etc., you will be drilling. But the drilling, it's not that difficult. The first few times that I did it, I kind of messed up. I also messed up on streams because I just wasn't used to drilling on the big con because I always did the Group A approach. But, eventually playing through it, I got the hang of it. I didn't need to even practice in here. Got the hang of it. It was fine. And when you're at the vault, there's nothing really rushing you. There's not a team of enemies behind you. So you can just drill the vault. You can take your time with it. Your teammates might be a little pissed off that you're taking pretty long when drilling, but you don't really need this drill. You don't really need this door here to practice because you do the heist enough, you're going to get pretty good at it. So, drilling, not that big of a deal. Now, the last thing here, the hacking equipment. The hacking equipment is the only one that might seem kind of worth it, but I still don't think that it's worth it. The reason I don't think it's worth it is because the fingerprint scanner, that one is the easiest hack. The first few times I did it, it seemed a little complicated, but I got used to it. And now I memorized every single, picture. So whenever I see the print, I know which ones to hit. I've gotten pretty good at it. I don't need this thing. I don't need to practice on that. Also, the second one, the keypad lock. This one, the dot hacking, this one is the most complicated one. This one is pretty challenging, and you can get better by practicing here, but you wouldn't even need to do the dot hacking if you would just get the casino pass. If you did the extra prep mission and you got the level 2 pass, you would never have to deal with dot hacking. And if you're doing the silent approach, for instance, if you choose to do all the dot hacking, even if you get through all the doors hacking it perfectly, you will waste more time hacking those doors than it will take you to actually complete the mission. So I think it's personally always better to do the mission. You don't need the casino heist practice equipment. It's just a waste of money. Don't get it. Do the optional security pass prep. You will still have to do some fingerprint hacking on the vault itself, but everything outside, you won't have to deal with any hacking mini games. I think it's much better to do the optional prep instead of, spending money on this thing just to practice. Next at number 4, we have the P996 Laser, which costs $6.5 million. Now, I know I'm going to have some people that are going to tell me, but the Laser is a good jet. I am not disputing that. What I am disputing is the price here. And I think that this thing, buying it, is a big waste of money. The reason that I think so is because you can always get one from Fort Zancudo, no problem. Especially if you have a hangar in Fort Zancudo, you could get these for free. anytime you want. You have to go to Fort Zancudo, sure, but you get them for free, and there's no difference between the same jet that you buy. When you buy this thing, the only thing that you can do to it different is you can change the color. You can also make it a personal vehicle, which you can spawn it at certain different locations alongside Pegasus, but it's just not worth the $6.5 million price tag. For a jet that's been in the game since the very start, this thing has been in the game since the very start. Why should somebody purchase this thing when they can just purchase a Hydra? And the Hydra also has hover mode. I understand that the Laser, it does have a little bit better agility when dogfighting in comparison to the Hydra, but still, both of them have explosive cannons. It's just not worth the $6.5 million price tag. It's a great jet, really good for missions, very fast and agile jet. The explosive cannons make jobs like Headhunter, like right here, very easy, but it's just not worth $6.5 million when all you can do is change the paint. You can't even put countermeasures on this thing. You can't even put flares or chaff. At least let us do this if you're going to be charging $6.5 million for a jet that's been in the game since launch. At number 3, we have Research. And Research, there is 51 research items. And if you were to fast track each one, that is $225,000 per each one. You multiply that by 51, that is $11,475,000. Now, this amount might be different for each person. For instance, my amount, it's somewhere around $10 million that I spent on research, somewhere around there, because I remember I did like 5 or 6 research items where I just got supplies and I did it for free. The other ones after that, I just fast-tracked everything because I was so impatient, I didn't feel like waiting. I just paid for all of it. Chances are you have probably also fast-tracked research. I haven't really talked to one person who did all of the research by getting supplies. The reason people fast-track research is because it just takes so long to research everything, because you have to do the resupply mission, you got to get the supplies back to your bunker, then you got to wait until the thing finishes researching it, and this can take some time. Then you got to do another resupply mission, and you got to keep doing this for each one. And with research, you could get the item that you like at the beginning, or you could get the item that you like all the way at the end. It's random, so you don't know what you're gonna get. And on top of that, they waste your time with a lot of useless things like liveries, paint skins. I've said this before, but why do you need, a team of scientists in order to, research paint? A simple mechanic could do that. So, the research system was just a giant waste. What they could have done instead is they could have done it where if you research the item, you get the item for free, because then they hold it for ransom and you gotta pay for it again. It doesn't make sense. I do think that research, though, is worth doing, so you can get things like, missile attachments on certain vehicles, armor attachments on other vehicles, explosive rounds, armor-piercing rounds. I do think the research is worth doing, but I think that it's a giant waste of money. I think it's a waste of money for fast-tracking it, and I also think it's a waste of time for doing the resupply missions. So either one, I think it's a necessary waste, but it's still a waste in my opinion. I don't regret spending that much money because I wanted all the items, but I just wish that it wasn't this price, because this was a giant waste of money for things that I don't even need. Liveries. I was forced to research and pay for that. I just wanted, explosive rounds and some different attachments on my vehicles. That was it. I didn't want paint skins. Moving on to number 2, we have the Luxor Deluxe and the Swift Deluxe. Now, you guys knew these would be on the list, and I'm sure some people thought these would be actually number 1, but they're not. But they're still the number 2 biggest waste of money that I've ever spent on GT Online. Now, the Luxor Deluxe and the Swift Deluxe, both of these aircraft came out the Ill-Gotten Gains update, and it cost a total of $15,150,000. The Luxor Deluxe is $10 million. The Swift Deluxe is $5,150,000. And what both of these aircraft basically are is they're almost the same thing as the Luxor plane and the Swift helicopter. They're just gold-plated, and they have a little bit of a different interior. The Luxor Deluxe, it has the option to smoke a cigar and also the option to drink champagne, while the Swift Deluxe has the option to drink champagne and also browse the internet, but all other helicopters also have that option. However, the Luxor Deluxe's interior is different, but there's not really much here besides the interior. The whole purpose of these two vehicles was just so people could show off. That was the whole purpose of them. So people could show off and say, look, I spent $10 million on this plane, or I spent $5 million on this helicopter. There's not much more than that, and I was really disappointed by this. And one thing that they could have done to really improve this thing, what they could have done to really seal the deal, is they could have done it where the Swift Deluxe and the Luxor Deluxe, since you spend so much money on both of the vehicles, they come with their own AI, pilot. You know, imagine that the Swift Deluxe, that you could call that in, it could spawn at certain locations, you get into it, and it fast travels you like the VIP helicopter, or you just fly across the map, and you can just sit in the back while the AI pilot flies. And they could even do that for the Luxor Deluxe, but for the Luxor Deluxe, you would have to go to the airport like LSIA, Fort Zancudo, McKenzie Airfield, and then you could just get in it. The AI pilot would just fly you across the map, land you at another airstrip. I know a lot of people wouldn't use this still, but at least it would add something, more substance to the plane. With the research, I spent almost $10 million on the research, but at least the research gave me something that I could use. Here, both of these vehicles, they're just meant to show off. There's not really much more to that. They could have been better. They could have had an AI pilot and maybe some other extra features. Other than that, not much to them. They're a giant waste of money. And the number one biggest waste of money that I've ever spent in GTA Online is the Arena Wars update. 30 plus million. That's right, 30 plus million. Now I know what some people are thinking. They're thinking, are you stupid? You spent over $30 million on the Arena Wars? I probably spent even more than that. Probably much more. That's just a rough estimate that I'm giving. Somewhere around there, much more than that. I have bought every single Arena Wars vehicle. I fully upgraded it, bought the workshop, bought a bunch of clothes too, and you know, that's probably much more than 30 million, but that's just my rough estimate. Now the reason that I consider this a giant waste of money is because Arena Wars was the most overpriced update that I've ever seen on GTA Online. Everything was so overpriced. The vehicle prices were really, really expensive, and on top of that, the upgrades were really expensive as well. There were some upgrades that were going $400,000, $500,000, $200,000. So even if you bought the vehicle for a decent price, you got the trade price on it, you were still going to be pouring a few million into it just to, you know, put on good upgrades on it to make the vehicles better. But even when you put on all the upgrades on the vehicles, you invested so much into them. A lot of these vehicles are just terrible. For instance, the Cerberus truck, if you want to fully upgrade this thing, the base price on it costs somewhere around $3,870,000, I believe, and then you're going to be probably pouring another at least $1 to $2 million into just upgrading it. And that's almost $5 to $6 million at this point on this single truck. And with this truck, you can't even do much. Sure, it has a unique flamethrower weapon, but if I'm going to be pushing really fast with this truck, you know, I'm going to be really hitting the gas, I'm going to be hitting the boost, I expect that this ramp is going to at least do something. It's going to, you know, smash vehicles out of the way, but it doesn't do a good job out of it. It can push some vehicles out of the way, but doesn't do a good job, and loses a lot of its speed. And for all those crazy armor upgrades that we put on this thing, no, it doesn't even take that much. Just one RPG and it gets blown up. Most of the other Arena Wars vehicles, they get blown up in one RPG. The only one that can take a bunch of explosives is the tank, the Scarab tank. Everything else pretty much gets destroyed so easily, and I know what some people are going to say. It's because the Cerberus tank has gasoline in it. That's why it explodes. It has plenty of holes in it. If you can see right here, if we're going to go crazy and technical with it, the Apocalypse variant has plenty of holes with it. I'm fully confident there's no gas in it. That's not what's causing the explosion with one RPG. Regardless, all the other Arena Wars vehicles, they get destroyed so easily. Now, what gets even worse about this update was the trade prices. The trade prices, you unlock them randomly in the arena, so you'd have to constantly be grinding through the arena to unlock the trade prices, and barely anyone plays the arena. I have over 2,000 people on my friends list, and I have a bunch of people on GT Online. I tried to get people to play the arena with me. I could only have 2 people connect, and they were my friends, so it doesn't really count. If I tried to sit there and get randoms in here, nobody would connect, nobody would play. Barely anyone plays Arena Wars anymore. I can't find any matches, so it's very hard to get the trade price on it. And the trade price, you're much more likely to get trade prices on clothes, because clothes will get also trade prices. The clothes are also extremely expensive. There's some outfits that cost over $300,000 for an outfit, and if you compare this to future updates like the Casino Heist and the Casino DLC, that is much more balanced in price, especially the outfit prices. But the Arena Wars update, just extremely overpriced, unreasonable trade prices. The pay in the arena was just bad, so you're not going to be able to make your money back. With all the other updates, I was able to make my money back playing that update pretty quickly. This update, I will never make my money back just playing in the arena. I think that it's pretty much impossible, and with less people playing it every day, I don't think I'm ever going to make my money back in the arena, and I don't even want to play the arena, to tell you the truth, because the pay is just awful, and barely anyone is in it. On top of that, we also have the issue of the variants for the vehicles, because there's the Apocalyptic variant, the Futuristic variant, and the Nightmare variant, and you can't even change the variant anytime. You would think that you could take it into the garage, and your mechanic could change. Oh, I want to go from Apocalyptic Cerberus to Futuristic Cerberus. I should be able to do that, you know, paying for the Futuristic upgrade, but I can't. Instead, I have to buy a second vehicle, a completely different vehicle, a completely different Cerberus, just to be able to get a futuristic Cerberus. So you have to decide on the variant that you want, and when you unlock the trade prices, you don't get refunded the difference. So you're going to be buying multiple vehicles for the same thing. They're not even good. Barely anyone uses them. I don't see them in free mode. Now, there are some good vehicles like the ZR380 and the Def Bike, but a lot of the other vehicles, I don't really find a use for them. And you don't see them in free mode. You can see that people don't use these things. So over 30 plus million spent on the Arena Wars update. I know you guys have heard me rant about this update before, but I do consider it the biggest waste of money. And I don't want to hate on the Arena Wars. I don't want it to sound like I'm hating on it. I really wanted to like this DLC. I really gave it a try. I wanted it to be successful. They could have added like a co-op mode, a survival in the arena. They could have buffed the pay on it, decreased the prices on a lot of the vehicles, but Rockstar just didn't do that. Thankfully, though, they at least learned with their future updates like the casino and the casino heist not to make them so overpriced. Those updates were reasonably priced. This is the most overpriced update that I've ever seen on GTA Online. And despite me spending over $30 million on this DLC, I don't regret anything that I spent on this DLC because I wanted to buy everything in this DLC just to show you guys that it wasn't worth it. And I made vehicle reviews back when this DLC came out on every single vehicle. I reviewed every single vehicle, tested multiple variants of it, played around with them just to show you guys that it wasn't worth getting. So no, I don't regret spending anything on the arena. It is a big waste of money, but me personally, I don't regret spending on it because I wanted to show you guys. If you are, you're just playing this game, you want to have fun in this game, and you see this DLC, don't spend money on it. It's just a big waste. Arena Wars, I don't think this DLC is ever going to recover, but that was the biggest waste of money. This is the top 5 biggest waste of money I've ever done on GTA Online. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like. And if you're new to my channel, enjoy my content, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.